Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again, man. I got amazing news for you guys today, man. This is beautiful news. I woke up this morning to a ton of emails and Aki hitting me up. First of all, big shout out to everybody who emailed me. I love it when people update me. Do not think, oh, a million people probably updated you, Strategic. No, you do your thing because you are appreciated. Great news is that Alisa Petrov has been found. As we said she would be. We spoke on the show. We said, Alisa, turn yourself in to the police. Call your parents. Let them know you're okay. How did we know this? Because we knew the type of guys that she was communicating with. And we're going to get into that archetype of guys because there's different type of predators out there, pedophiles, guys. And these dudes weren't the type that would have taken her life. They wanted to take advantage of her. But this is great, great, great news. I'm so happy. Let's throw another yay out for her. Now, we're going to read an article. We're going to go into her turning herself in unharmed. They said that she's in good health and good spirits, and that's good to hear, right? But I think now is time that family, it's not for us to do, but that family needs to transition into why, Alisa, why? Because when you do a deep dive into the circumstances of her disappearance, you start to realize that this young lady needs help. She really does, right? And we're not here victim blaming at all. Not at all, all right? She should have been surrounded by men that she could trust that would have simply told her, no, what you're doing online is inappropriate. I'm going to report you to your parents. I'm going to report you to the police, or I'm just going to leave you alone. Like, please do not contact me because I'm not into that stuff. But unfortunately, we have people who are opportunists out there, who are diabolically sick people who have no qualms taking advantage of other people for their own wares. And so hence, this little young one went missing, man. And this is unfortunate, man. But we got to do better as a society, and we definitely have to do better with mental health and identifying when we have vulnerable people who need assistance, right? And I think she's vulnerable, and I think she needs assistance because there's something going on in Alisa that pushed her towards this negativity, guys. But listen, we're happy that she's found. This young one, man, she went far, guys. I'm going to put up the Google Maps real quick. And wow, did she not make some moves, man? She made quite a bit of some moves. Let's go ahead and just put a picture down real quick. So she traveled 578 miles. 578 miles. If she was driving, it would have took her 8 hours and 45 minutes to get there. 578 miles. That's the shortest route. The longest route that I saw that's listed here is 596 miles. And this is 10 minutes more. Big deal, 10 minutes, right? But anyway, so many things could have happened to this young woman. So many things. And I'm pretty sure a lot of things have happened to her. But this is a time for healing. It's a time for healing. It's a time for her to convalesce with her family, and it's a time for the community to embrace her and to give her the services that she needs so that this doesn't happen again. Because the next time, if it happens again, may not end with a good outcome. It may not end with a good outcome. So let me go ahead and bring in this article. I just want to play this quick snippet from Law and Crime. Just so you can see her actually talk. Like in all the articles and the videos that I watched in preparation of the original video that we did, I don't remember actually watching a video of Alisa, and I think it's cool to kind of show who she is. She's just a vibrant girl who just was led astray and manipulated and groomed. But something happened, and something was happening inside of her that made her susceptible to the grooming, and that's what we need to find out the root cause of. When you are sure of yourself and you're happy in your life and in your spirit, if it kind of fortifies you against that negativity. But when you've got things going on and there's an imbalance in your mind or in your body and your soul, that's what these predators look for. Those are the cracks in the armor that they exploit to groom you and to take advantage of you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alisa Petrov. Just a short snippet of her.
I have to use my laptop as a power bank, guys. By the way, I'm with my besties.
That is Alisa Petrov.
All right. That's Alisa Petrov. So now let's read this article real quick, guys. We can't be here for long. Got a doctor's appointment. You know, we don't usually go early, live this early, but I had to come on and show you guys love. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Support the channel. Hit the like button so we can get into the algorithm. We definitely would like to be viewed by a larger audience. And I'm so happy to have this good news before we get into the argument. See, I'm tired. I just woke up. Into the article, rather. Because yesterday, we did a live on the attack that happened in Colorado. So right now, Colorado is mourning the injuries of elderly people who are simply attending a rally for the people who are still hostages in Gaza. And a person that has been identified as an illegal immigrant from Egypt. His name is Muhammad. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the last name, the first initial is a S. You could definitely look it up. This man who was not supposed to be in the country, who overstayed. I'm not really sure how he came in. I think he came in on some type of visa or something. And he overstayed and he was caught, and then he was re-released and given a work permit, something like that. I don't know. You guys go look it up. And if you're part of the membership, you can see the video that we covered on that. He decided that he wanted to conduct terror on these people. So our prayers go out to all of our brothers and sisters in Colorado who are currently going through that. But then we get this good news that Alisa has been found, and we're very grateful for that good news as well, right? So let's keep going. A 15-year-old girl who vanished nearly 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks this young lady was out there in the wild. 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Prompting the investigation of 3 men, including at least one who shared disturbing chats with while trying to get her to meet him, has been found safe more than 500 miles away in Colorado, according to authorities. Alisa Petrov, 15, from South Jordan, walked into the Colorado Springs Police Department on Sunday evening, 6 weeks after she disappeared, police said. She's in good health, but cops have not yet determined how she got to the police station or if she was held against her will, the outlet reported. I do not believe she was held against her will, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you guys before, when I said that she would be returning safely to her family, I believe that it was just time for her to, it was getting too hot, as we say in New York, for the person who she was staying with. I believe that there was a 4th guy that she was with. I do not believe that the authorities have identified all of the different men that was reaching out to this young woman and that she was communicating with. Understand that we're not victim blaming, but it's clear that Alisa was putting herself out there. All right. Now, she is a minor. So it is up to these adults to be moral adults and say no. But Alisa, in my opinion, was putting herself out there. And people who are of that ilk were finding her. Okay? That does not mean that anything that happened to her is her fault. It is not. She is not capable of consenting. But she was making herself available, like, hey, look at me. And people were finding her. And I do not believe that it's limited to the 3 people that we have seen arrested so far in this case. I believe by the time this case has been resolved, there will be at least maybe 5 or 6 men in total that will probably be arrested or at least questioned on having contact with this young woman. And I believe one of that 5 or 6, 3 of which have not been identified yet, is the person that she was with. And I believe it was most likely somebody that she probably met along the way. It's exceedingly dangerous for a person her age to be out in the wild. And it's very easy for somebody to spot her in the wild and to say, hey, are you okay? And then she says, I don't have nowhere to go. And then you get that, what they call it in the business is survival sex, where the juvenile is offering up themselves in order to survive, to have a place to live, a place to eat. This is actually the terms that they use in the business when you go through the trainings, when you're out there dealing with the social workers, at least in New York. I believe that's what happened. So I told you guys that I believe that Alisa was going to be found safe and unharmed. I could have said she would have been found hurt. She could have been found injured. I told you guys she would be found safe and unharmed. And I'm not a psychic. I've just been doing this for a very long time. I've done a lot of these investigations with missing kids. I've worked in an area prior to going to special victims as a sex crimes detective. I worked in an area where we had a lot of missing kids. There was a massive group home in the confines of the area that I patrolled when I was a patrol officer. So I took dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of missing person reports, and followed up on dozens and dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of missing kids who were returned unharmed. You know when it's going to be foul play right out the gate when you do it enough. This was not that circumstance. And we're going to talk about these guys before we get out of here. It's not going to be a long live. We're going to get right to it. So I guarantee you that when this is all said and done, we'll follow up with this. It's going to go quiet for a while because she's been found and she's a minor, so there's not a lot of information you can release about minors. They release a lot because they want to find her, but once she's found, it kind of becomes confidential because of her age. So the best of our abilities, we're going to follow up on this, but I guarantee you that it's going to be somebody that she met along the way. There's more men that she spoke to on the internet, I believe, but this particular person that dropped her off at that police station. Remember, we're talking about Colorado, man. We don't got trains and buses and all this stuff that you got in these big metropolitan areas. She needed to be driven there. And she didn't take an Uber or a Lyft. She was dropped off there. She was most likely dropped off by the person who we're going to call the assailant, because whatever he did with her was illegal. Because if he was a person of just and moral and sound judgment, he'd have walked into the station with her because he'd have nothing to hide. He did nothing wrong. I found her. I brought her here. This is the young woman. Return her to her family. He'd be a hero. It's not what happened. Alisa walked into the police station by herself. That means the person who drove her there does not want to be identified. Most likely, like I'm telling you guys, I said it 3 times because I wanted to sink into your souls. That strategic said it. It's somebody she met along the way. She has not been surviving on the streets for 4 weeks. She's been in a home. She's been fed. She's had access to the TV. She had access to the internet. I do not believe that she's been chained up somewhere, held against her will. I think she was with somebody. It started getting too hot. She couldn't go outside. She's basically a prisoner inside the home because she doesn't want to be found. And the person and her both probably agreed that the time is now. That person was afraid of themselves getting in trouble, probably swore her to secrecy. She's like, no, I'm not going to say anything. I guarantee she'll crack. The juveniles always do because they're just not mentally mature or prepared for these things. They think they are, but they're not. After a couple of sessions of therapy with a professional, forensic interviews, she's going to give that person up too, and they're going to go to jail. But she met somebody along the way. Anyway, let's get back to this. She was in good health, but cops have not yet determined how she got to the police station or if she was held against her will, the outlet reported. Petrov was reported missing on April 21st, 2 days after her final message to a 41-year-old man with whom she had been having a series of conversations of inappropriate, but I'm not going to say it for the YouTube terms, conversations according to the affidavit. She says, I'm running away. Please don't contact me, Petrov wrote on April 19th at 12:34 a.m. in a message to an unnamed man from Harriman, Utah, whom she met on Discord, the report said. So we're going to name that guy, and his name is Mitchell. Let's get his full name. He's been arrested. So Samuel Teencum Mitchell. That's the guy. We get a picture of him too. Let me go ahead and save this picture. I'm going to put it over here inside of OBS. Give me a second, guys, so I can upload this picture so you guys can be able to see it. You name it, Mitchell. Yeah, get out of here soon. What time is it? All right, I got a little bit of time. I got an appointment I have to make. Oh, let me change that. Sorry about that. Downloads. Perfect. Got him. Perfect. This guy looks weird too. But then again, what do you expect? Of course somebody like this would do that. This is the guy right here. This is Samuel Mitchell. Samuel Mitchell right there. Big shout out to the research crew for always showing up and showing that love. I'm going to read you some of their messages that they shared. Very, very disturbing, but we'll talk about it, and we'll get to the mindset of some of these guys, and then we'll call it a day. All right. Got to put that down so we get back to the article. Okay. The man was later identified. So they did identify him. I'm sorry. So the man was later identified. This is my first time reading this article, by the way. This man was later identified as Samuel Tinkham Mitchell after police conducted a reverse search of the phone number he provided to Petrov. Not very sophisticated, are you, sir? Their chats had become increasingly sexual, including discussions about prophylactics and games, as well as planning to meet in person, according to the affidavit. Messages were discovered on Petrov's iPad, which she left behind in her bedroom. She had shared her Snapchat username with him, and some messages may have been deleted, according to the warrant. Let's keep going. Mitchell, 41, was arrested Wednesday and charged with 5 counts of exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony, and enticement of a minor. 2 other men were also charged for communicating with Petrov before her disappearance. William Taylor Giles, 37, is in custody in Texas, and the second suspect, Matthew Nicholas Menard, 35, of Florida, turned himself in on Wednesday night, the outlet said. Now, this guy, Matthew Nicholas Menard, is very troubling because not only was he communicating with her and asking to meet with her like these other guys were. This is Mr. Glines right here, and on your screen right now is Mitchell. Menard was actually instructing her on how to stay unnoticed and unfound. He was instructing her how to lay low, and he was planning on meeting her in Las Vegas. Now, this guy is a total nut job because he expected a juvenile to somehow survive in Las Vegas for 3 weeks until he finally arrived on the 4th week for a conference. This guy is a tech executive. How was she supposed to stay in Las Vegas and survive on her own for 3 weeks? I don't know. I have no idea. My intuition is that he was one of those guys who were just engaging in a sick fantasy. That is my intuition. Because it doesn't make sense. He wanted her to run away and survive in Las Vegas for 3 weeks. It would probably have made more sense for him to tell her to leave on the day that he was actually going to be in Las Vegas. Whatever. Let's keep going. Glines has been charged with aggravated exploitation of a minor, attempted aggravated exploitation of a minor, first-degree felonies, and criminal solicitation records indicate. Menard also charged with aggravated exploitation of a minor, enticing a minor, and 3 counts of criminal solicitation. Petrov was last seen on security video leaving a train platform in Provo, KUTV reported. Her family had previously offered a $20,000 reward for any information leading to her safe return. Very, very sad stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I have the greatest audience on the planet. I had a few people who are from Eastern European background contact me, and they advised me of what they believed her home life was like. Nothing negative. It's just that this is a very conservative families. They don't allow their daughters to date. I don't know if this is Petrov's family, all right? For all we know, they could be very liberal, very, hey, do whatever you want. We're here to support you. We have no idea of knowing this. But traditionally, Eastern Europeans are very conservative in religion. We're not talking about politics here. They value school and education very much. They don't want their young girls dating until they're adults. They don't get to go out as much. And if this is the case and this is the lifestyle and a family that this young woman was dealing with, it kind of makes sense that she would probably rebel. To the degree of which she rebelled, wow. I think she kind of went a little far on this one. And unfortunately, she was exposed to some really horrible people that exploited her. But yeah, this kind of happens when people are very strict. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about why I believe that she was alive. And then we'll call it a day. Where we at on time? Perfect. We're doing good in time. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I believe that she was alive is there's different types of PDs. All right. You have the Jarvis Butts, and the Stephen Stearns, Jarvis Butts being the PD that manipulated and groomed Naziah Harris. We covered that case extensively. She has her own playlist. Please go check it out. She definitely deserves the awareness, and her case is still ongoing. And then you have also the Stephen Stearns. We all know that. That's one of our popular shows on this channel. We also have a playlist there as well. Go check that out. Stephen Stearns, if you don't know, is the man who groomed and manipulated and also ended up taking the life of Madeline Soto. And let's add that Jarvis Butts did the exact same thing to Naziah Harris as well. You have those guys, and those guys oftentimes will invest so much into the grooming of their victim, and it happens for such a long period of time that they usually end up taking the life of the victim because of the fear of what would happen if they get discovered. So we look at the Stephen Stearns situation, and he knew that he committed his crime in a state that just by virtue of him abusing Madeline Soto, he would face capital punishment. So when you have that situation, believe me, I definitely support the capital punishment that they have in Florida. I'm a big supporter of it. But there's a catch-22. The catch-22 is, well, if you catch me and I have a live victim, I'm going to face capital punishment. If I don't have a live victim and you don't catch me, then I might get away with it if I plan the ending of that victim correctly. But if you catch me after I took that victim's life, I still face capital punishment. So there's no incentive for them not to take the victim's life in a system like that. Even though I do think that we need the capital punishment, I am able to look at it from a different perspective. That when you have the capital punishment, you basically don't give the bad guy a choice but to take the victim's life, because if they get caught just for the SEX, then they face capital punishment. If they take the victim's life, they face capital punishment. But if they take the victim's life and there's no witness to attest to the SEX, and they get away with taking the victim's life because we don't find a body or we can't connect the body to them, then they get away with it. You understand what I'm saying, guys? So you have that type of PD. And then you have the PDs that were in contact with Alisa. And these are opportunist type of PDs. These guys don't go out and grab their victims off the street and kidnap them, pull them in alleyways. That's not these guys. These guys are your firefighters, your doctors, your lawyers, even your cops. They're your school crossing guards. They're definitely your teachers. We see that all the time. They're your teachers. In fact, many of them will gravitate to teaching and coaching where they have access to their victims. These guys operate primarily off of fantasies. They're the guys that's going to be inside of the websites, the P hubs, whatever the big large sites of. All of those sites have sections like young and old or teen or schoolgirl. Like, they all have those type of sections because there are sick guys that actually like that type of pornography. You guys know I got to talk funny because of YouTube. Those are the guys that are going to look at that kind of stuff. Those are the guys, they're not going to have that many opportunities to find victims. If they have had a victim in the past, it was probably a runaway have been a drug addicted teen. It might have been a teen that is engaged in trafficking or something to that effect. They very rarely, very seldom have the opportunity to get their victims because they operate with a mask that they're normal. They have normal jobs. Most of their victimization happens online. Either they're watching simulated stuff on the internet or they're reaching out and they're testing the waters, finding people in group chats, etc., and forums like Discord. These guys aren't killers. They're not killers. They're sick and degenerate people. Look up the definition of degenerate, and that's exactly what they are. We use the word degenerate for anybody. Oh, you're a degenerate because you don't like the way somebody dresses. Degeneracy has its own specific definition, and it's exactly what guys like this are. All right. And something is going on with Alisa where she needs help. And so she presented herself out there, and these kind of guys are going to gravitate towards her. And so these guys aren't the type that's going to take her life. They're just the type that's going to manipulate her. They're going to meet her. They're going to take advantage of her, but they're not going to hurt her. I do not believe that she was physically hurt. Spiritually is a different story, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely, spiritually is a different story. Mentally, in terms of when she gets older, she's 15 right now. At 18, her whole world is going to change, and she's going to realize just how victimized she was and just how preyed upon and groomed she was by these guys. It's just going to take time. But they did not physically hurt her. I don't believe that she's going to come back with a story that these guys assaulted her. Oh, it's my dentist. Give me 1 second just to make sure that they're not canceling on me. Sorry about that, guys. They wanted to change my appointment, but I actually can't swing it. I got something else going on a little bit later, another appointment in the city for my son. So anyway, so guys, I knew that just off of the archetype of these guys that that she would be returning home. The question is, what will we do now as a community? We cannot just say, welcome home, Alisa, and just go back to your room and, you know, you're grounded. How dare you do this to the family? I'm not saying that this is what her family would do. She seems like she comes from a very nice family. Her mother and her father look like they love her dearly, and they were traumatized with her loss. It also looks like she's an only child, which stings even more when that's all you have. They also look like they're older parents, like they started out having a child older, and so they may not even be able to have more kids. So not saying that you could ever replace a kid, but this is their only child. This is it. That's it. Done. It's Alisa Petrov. So what matters now is the community surrounding her, giving her the support she needs, giving her the counseling, finding out why this happened, finding out why she was online, reaching out for male validation from the worst males possible, that is, and hoping that she can get some healing and that this will never happen again. Because as I said to you guys before, the next time we may not be this lucky. The next time we may not be this lucky. Okay, I'm gonna go to the comment section real quick and then we'll get out of here because I have some appointments I got to make, and I want to thank you guys for your support. You guys are amazing. Please make sure you hit that like button, guys. Make sure you hit the like button, support the channel. We definitely have to do our best to get in that algorithm. Oh, I almost forgot I was going to read for you guys some of the messages that they were sharing with each other. So Alisa asks Mitchell to kidnap her while she was on a family ski trip and revealed she was running away from home 2 days before she went missing. I'm running away. Please don't contact me. I'm going to go further up, though, because she constantly asks this guy to kidnap her and others. She would constantly give them her location and say, look, this is where I'm at. Come get me. I don't know if this was a game for her, if this was some type of fantasy. I'm not sure. But certainly it's abnormal, and it's just a symptom of what this little girl was going through emotionally and spiritually. She said, I'm running away. Please don't contact me. She wrote at 12:34 a.m. on April 19th. The search warrant alleged messages between Alisa and Mitchell included her telling him she wanted to be a vlogger when she turned 18. But she also allegedly, but also allegedly contained graphic descriptions of acts he wanted to do with her when they met in person. Messages between Alisa. Oh, I'm sorry. She was only saved from this fate when Mitchell told her that they couldn't meet. The affidavit explained. Sorry, I'm really sick, Mitchell allegedly wrote. Alisa replied, so we meeting? So she's still trying to push to meet. And he's like, and he wasn't sick, guys. They didn't talk about this, but I'm telling you because I investigate these guys and all. I think it was all fantasy for him. And he got cold feet. This guy's a sick guy. Let me take the rest down because I just want to show you the one guy that we're talking about right now. This guy right here, he's a sick guy. He's a sick guy, and this was all fantasy for him. He probably never intended to meet her. I think the person that probably was most likely trying to meet her or really considering it is the guy from Florida, Matthew Nicholas Menard. I think he was probably the one who was most likely to want to meet this young woman. But this guy was all sick fantasy. He was just talking crap and gratifying himself off of the pictures she was sending him and the conversations that they were having. He didn't turn sick. All right. So he says, I'm really sick. And she says, yo, so we mean? And he goes, if you want to hear me sneezing and coughing and getting you sick, plus I wouldn't be much fun. That's him basically not meeting her because he doesn't want to meet her because he's scared. South Jordan police requesting a search warrant alleged that Alisa called Mitchell daddy, and they discussed couples twister and ex-Monopoly games. Alisa also requested multiple times for Mitchell to kidnap her, and 8 days before she ran away, sent him locations where she would be, the affidavit alleged. If these guys really wanted to meet her, like they wanted to meet her, like she found the right one, as we say in New York, and that's not a positive thing. When somebody say you found the right one, that's not a good thing for you, right? If she found the right one, they would have got on a plane, a bus, or a car, and they would have drove to her, and they would have granted her her wish, okay? These guys were all about the fantasy. They were all about the fantasies. These guys were the disgusting guys who sit in their basement, you know, with the lotion, and that's how they get off. That's what they do. That's these guys. She did not meet the right one because they would have went to Utah and they would have found her, okay? Now, I believe along the way of her being missing, she found an opportunistic person that she's right there in front of her, right there in front of them, rather. And so then that separate journey, which we're going to find out later maybe, if they release that stuff, which they probably won't because she's a minor. But she went on she started off talking to these guys and maybe even more guys on the internet. But when she was out there in the wild is when she met a real journey. She met her journey when she was out there in the wild. So she's got a story to tell. But these guys were simply the opportunistic fantasy guys who were getting off of the internet. One of these was Alta Ski Resorts, where Alisa was on a trip with her parents the weekend before she disappeared, returning only hours earlier. These families taking great care of her, taking her skiing. I'm looking at pictures I can't show you because it's in the email, but you know, she looks happy. She's well dressed, well taken care of. She's on thousands of dollars worth of ski equipment. You know, she's living a great life, but that doesn't mean that your spirit is happy. You know, you may have the appearance of happiness, but that doesn't mean you're happy within yourself. And that's what we got to work on with Alisa. Some of the photos her parents, Olga and Nikolai, released in the hope of finding her were taken on the same ski trip. After Mitchell said he was sick, Alisa instead allegedly arranged to meet with Menard in Las Vegas while he was there on a business trip. And from there, fly to Los Angeles, then his home in Miami. On April 21st, Alisa was dropped off at her school, and then she went missing. So I think all of these guys, as we would say in New York, was dubbing her, using that New York speak. I'm taking my son down to New York City later on today for some appointments. So I got to get up on my New York speak, talk like a New Yorker again. My old stomping grounds. I think these guys were dubbing her. You know, they were, when Ish started to get real and she's like, I want to meet, who's going to meet me? these guys started falling back. They're sick. They can't fly out there. They're this, they're that. And so she got desperate and was like, screw it, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. That's what I think happened. So this is why I believe that these guys weren't the type that were going to take her off this planet. But I'm happy that along her journey, as she was out there in the wild, she did not meet somebody who did just that. And we're going to pray for her and pray that that she gets the help that she needs. Let's go to the comment section and let's get out of here. Please remember to hit that like button. Hit the like button. Support the channel, guys. My nose is stuffy. I don't see Aki highlighting anybody for me to shout out. Big shout out to everybody who is a member inside of the chat. Thank you so much for coming and supporting the channel. Let me see if I see anything. Still getting over a cold, guys. I apologize for that. Idea One says, what did she experience during those 45 days? I don't think she was playing with dolls. Somebody says she has a brother. My apologies. That might have slipped me. I thought she was the only child. If that is correct, I guess she has a brother. But research it for yourself. Don't just take my word and somebody in the comment section word for it. Gotta Poop says, seems we don't know what was happening in her home life. That's true. We don't know. Jenny Peach, I saw a younger boy with them in a photo. One you showed, Strategic. Yep, so she might have a brother. She might. Crystal Zugi says, I hope that Alisa uses her voice to help other kids her age and to advocate for those that are being groomed. I don't think she's ready yet, but one day she will be, and she probably will. May says, it's been so long since I caught her live. Good morning, everyone. Glad she was found safe. Welcome and good morning to you. Michelle Marsh says, you called it. I'm so glad you were correct as usual, and she is okay. Well, thank you so much for bigging me up. I'm not always right, but, you know, we got this one right, and we just got it right because of experience. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just experience. Bethany K says, some of these kids in such a rush to grow up, not understanding the dangers out there. And that's true. That is a part of it. We're not victim blaming, but it is a fact that these kids don't understand just how dangerous the world is, man. Just how dangerous. Their bodies change, but their spirits are not ready yet. Their mind and their spirit is not ripe for this world. And unfortunately, there's a lot of real diabolical people who don't mind picking unripe fruit. And it's really shameful. We just got to have tough policies against these guys. Zero tolerance against these guys. Susan says, how crazy these kinds of adults exist. Exactly. Very true. PR in the building. PR says, Florida guy for sure. He had the money and clearly saw people as objects. These tech bros think money solves everything. That's true. And, you know, I hear stories about these tech bros and they're very disgusting habits. It exists, man. These tech bros are nasty people. Some of them, not all of them. Somebody's going to say, I'm a tech bro and I love your channel, Strategic, and I'm not diabolical. Then I'm not talking about you. Cindy from sunny South Florida says, what about the Mormon guy in Utah who had 11 kids? I also heard that guy made an excuse not to see her as well. So, yeah, he's in Utah and he was the Mormon guy, but he also made an excuse not to see her. Katie Hoffman says, I just told my daughter she found the right one on the wrong day. Ah, I hear you. I hear you. John McJunkin says, God bless everyone involved with getting the word out on all the missing children and helping in their recovery. Amen, man. We're here for it. We're here for it. Fashion Art says, you called it, Strategic. My mind is blown. I didn't think she would be found, although that was my hope and prayer. You are truly the GOAT that I knew. All right, well, appreciate you, man. I love the bigging up, man. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much. All right. John says, now law enforcement needs to find and locate the whereabouts of all these missing children. Many of them are trafficked into childhood P and child P. You guys can read it out for yourself. He's very right, but I just can't say it out loud because of YouTube's terms and services. Last few comments, and we'll call it a PR. I'm in Miami, and these guys are dirty. It's a brickle thing, drugs and all. I don't know what brickle means. Somebody define brickle for me. Not really sure what that means, but I hear you, PR, and you're right. Jolene says, thank the Lord for helping her to be found. Amen. Just Peachy says, oh, she's talking to somebody else, so we'll let that be their private conversation. Chris Suzuki says, it terrifies me. My kids think I'm crazy with how protective I am. Be protective, but not too protective. You know, let them breathe a little bit so that they won't, not telling you how to be a parent. You live your life, parent how you want to, but you got to let your kids breathe just a little bit so that they could be prepared for the world, A, and number B, they won't rebel against you. Because remember, we were all kids and we did whatever we wanted to do one way or another. We did it. A Obsidian in the building, moderator, appreciate you for supporting the channel. Says, thank God she is okay. And we'll give the last one to PR, who's going to define Brickle. But before that, we'll say Katie Hoffman says, so grateful she's been found and now praying for her healing in every way she needs. And we'll give the last one to PR. She says, Brickle is most likely where tech bros lived in Miami. Lots of sugar daddies, all money. So I guess Brickle is a community. Brickle is a community. Big shout out to David, moderator, who's in the building, says hit the like button. Thank you so much, David, for showing love and showing up. You guys are amazing. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining me in this impromptu live. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out the building. Remember, the like button is not because you like me. Some of you like me, some of you don't. It's okay. It's perfectly all right. I still love you, though. The like button is that you appreciate the fact that we took the time to actually come on YouTube and discuss this very important story and to give awareness to this young lady. That's what the like button is for. Nothing more, nothing less. And when you do hit the like button, it helps us get into the algorithm so that we can be viewed by a wider audience. That is, in essence, the like button. So please hit that like button, support the channel. Big shout out to Dr. Cataclysm, who donated 1 gift membership. We didn't forget you, Dr. Cataclysm, just noticed it. And that's about it. Consider becoming a member of True Crime Strategic. We get exclusive live streams as well as exclusive content for the members. So make sure that you become a member so that you can get that exclusive content. Also on the Patreon, we get totally separate content on the Patreon, its own live streams that are not shared with anywhere else. You also get a more raw version of Strategic. I'm not held back by YouTube's terms of service on Patreon, so you get a more raw version of me. You get to hear it just the way I want to deliver it without me censoring myself for YouTube. So consider becoming a member of the Patreon. It's just $5 to be a member of our Patreon. It's definitely worth the value. Go ask anybody who's a part of the Patreon. They'll tell you the Patreon is where it's at. So become a member of the show, become a Patreon member, and also consider shopping inside of our store, Dashery. The link has been posted multiple times inside of the chat. Also, it's going to be in the bio section or the description section of this video. We have awesome merch. Some of it is also fan merch that people have sent in, designs people sent in, their cats, all kinds of stuff. I don't know. I'm crazy. The merch is very diverse and is very awesome. So consider going over there and checking it out. I'll see you guys on the next one, guys. Strategic is out of here. Peace.